G'day there, it's James. What an unbelievable time to be a mortgage broker right now. Just cannot think of a time that people have needed your help, your guidance, your advice, be there in their hour of need more than right now. And from what I'm seeing, there's so many brokers doing so much valuable work, really, really helping their clients, right? And it's not because in every instance you're able to give them specific solutions. In some cases, you're very much the hardship situation going on, right? But I think just the fact that you're listening to them, doing your best to understand them, in and of itself is, I'm sure, providing a level of hope for these people that maybe they're feeling less of it before that. And I don't underestimate the challenge, seriously. One person I was talking to yesterday said that last week alone, she sent 300 people to lenders for hardship-related stuff, right? 300. I think that's unbelievable. And I know there'd be brokers out there that are doing more than that, right? So I don't underestimate the challenge of the situation that you're in right now, but equally, I think that it's a very defining moment in some regards in life, but very much a defining moment in your business, in your capacity to really double down to support your clients to the best of your ability, and sustain and protect your own income and the security of what you've already worked really hard to build as a business, as a life, and make some adjustments along the way, because clearly today and this point in time is very different than it was 2 weeks ago, let alone a month ago. So, I think that with all of the challenges that have been going on around, wearing or listening to people's problems, right, and have a compounding effect. So, hardship conversation after hardship conversation, it can wear its toll emotionally. And I don't underestimate how challenging I'm sure that's been for some brokers. And some of the conversations I've had is that it really has impacted them. And I think it's important that you're continuing to look after your own well-being, and you do that ongoing, because otherwise it's just going to be challenging to continue to provide the help to your clients, your staff, and ultimately to yourself and even to your families, if these things continue to take their toll. So I think that's not a conversation that's been widely discussed, but I think it's fair to say that it's really important that you get looked after in this process, because it's just going to allow your business to sustain and be there and continue being there for your clients. And I also think it's a time where, right now, more than ever before, it's that moment where you can stand up, claim your stake in the ground and say, I'm here to help, to come hell or high water. And I say that with a sense of intent, insofar as, let me just share my screen for a second here, because some brokers have, unfortunately, this, by the way, if you're wondering how this is being recorded, it's on Zoom, is how I'm doing it. So that's why there's a little bit of clicking to go from one screen to another. So this is my iPad here, and right now there are unfortunately some brokers who have quite literally checked out of the game. And so I'm not sure where you're at right now, but I think in some situations that are challenging present opportunity to consolidate the business and come from a position of strength, and really give yourself the opportunity to sustain, to support, to guide, to assist clients, assist staff, assist yourself, and get through this, right? So what I'm seeing some brokers doing is actually checking out of the game, right? And so, not making outbound calls, not assisting their clients, just sitting there waiting. And if inquiries have dropped off, then there's not going to be a lot of new business being written from purchasers in particular. And in some cases, sort of selecting which clients that they'll call, but selecting them based on being a favourite, not, I might just do this. Clients that are favourites, not because they're necessarily the ones that need the help most. So the problem with this, though, is that it takes a long time. to build the pipeline back up if you haven't necessarily been looking after people and having those conversations. Another group of brokers who are sort of cruising along business as usual. And I don't think there's much usual about this situation, right? They might have had a lot of opportunity in the past that's been coming to the fore and still in the process of getting through the deals that are on the desk. But at some point soon, that's not going to sustain itself. And I think it's really important to continue having that proactive outbound approach, calling, nurturing, guiding people to see how they best need assistance. And that's certainly what I'm seeing some people do, right? So here's the thing, is that even though in some cases, some brokers would have had withdrawn applications, right? Would have had people rescinding contracts recently and exercising their right in their calling off periods, etc. Even though that would have happened, and that's a lost revenue for right now, by continuing to provide guidance, provide help, support people, I think you'll certainly see some of that revenue will be delayed, not deleted, and that there's still more than a lot of opportunity for you to continue generating business. And I'm absolutely seeing that, and I don't want to suggest that it's necessarily easy, but by the same token, I think it's absolutely worth having conversations and continuing to have a really proactive approach to this. So really that's what I'm seeing. There's three different opportunities, or not opportunities, but situations. One where brokers have checked out, one where it's treating it as business as usual, and one where people are making adjustments in terms of how they operate, what they do, and the types of conversations that they're having, just to remain relevant and as helpful as possible. So by the same token, I just want to walk you through, because the past couple of weeks we've been doing some things with our clients just to show them and guide them and support them in terms of giving them the structure that I think that they need right now, that's going to assist them and allow them to be as proactive and productive and helpful to their own clients as possible. So there's really based on a few key pillars. So let me do my best to walk you through them. Now I'm going to type this or write this. I'm not great at the writing, but we'll give it a go. So the first of which is pivoting how they operate, right? And there's a few different areas of focus here. One of which is changing the priorities in the business, right? So there's clearly things that might have been on the cards a few months ago or a few weeks ago that just aren't the areas of focus right now. And again, this is a case-by-case basis. Every broker has their own nuances around where their energy and effort's going to be placed. And the second one, though, is around being clear on the message that's relevant to your audience today. Again, it might be different than what it would have been a few weeks ago, particularly if your focus was heavily around, for example, the investment lending segment. You might be doing refis, but you're probably not doing too many new purchases right now. And the third one is around process, okay, or your delivery, because there's a fair chance that some of you, if you're doing more of an isolation at the moment, is that you're going to be changing how you operate and how you remain relevant to your clients to continue servicing, to continue connecting, and to continue helping, right? So pivoting is pillar number one. Number two is around protecting yourself as well as connecting with people. So let me just write this in here: protect and connect. Really important that we remain connected, because even though we might be physically isolated, I don't think that we should be socially isolated. And the better your ability to continue looking after yourself, we'll call this, you, looking after your power or your energy. Really, really important. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of you continuing to look after yourself, because it can be very easy to get caught up in looking after everybody else, putting everybody else's needs first, but that will ultimately catch up with you, right? And I think it'll have a negative impact. So we need to look after you. We also need you to continue looking after your people, meaning your staff, because I imagine some of them have been on tender hooks recently, feeling concerned, feeling worried. I know some brokers have unfortunately had to let some staff go, and that's of course challenging and difficult. Also, there's been some interesting advice out there where I think it's dangerous advice where people are just saying let go of all of your staff and operate from zero, where I think it's dangerous to say if you don't necessarily know what everybody else's situation is, right? It's important to contextualize things relative to your own business. And the last thing is, of course, protecting your clients, right? Like I said before, I know that a lot of brokers are really standing up at this point in time and being there for their clients in that hour of need. Give an example. One of my clients, so he even said to a person, not even a client of his, he just said, "Look, mate, if you're going through a hard time, you just pick up the phone, you call me, even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, just give me a call because I'll be there and do my very best to help you." Right? And I think a lot of brokers are sharing that sentiment right now around wanting to be of service and be of help. And the third thing is around profit. And so what I mean by this is it's not that we're looking at this as a time to scale up the business and go through massive growth curve, but it is a case of being really effective and focused on where your energy and your effort is being placed in order to, frankly, mitigate or be aware of and mitigate some of your expenses if they're not necessarily the imperatives that you might need in your business. So, for example, a client that I worked with a couple of months ago, actually, this would have been, expenses were, we had about 20K of essentially expenses that weren't creating any value for him and his business. So that was 20K of extra revenue that he could collect just by not having to have superfluous or frivolous spending. So expenses is important to manage. Equally is investing, right? And I don't mean investing in shares. I certainly don't mean investing in property. It's not that I'm anti those things. I think that they're both great and they can both provide massive, massive value. It's more about investing in education, support, guidance, right? So our members, for example, very much recognise that what they're investing into is support, is contribution, is giving them structure, giving them clarity, giving them focus so they can be as effective as possible in terms of how they operate. So it's really about being aware of the expenses, investing in the right actions, and thirdly is around new business. Oops. Now that's of course going to come out of promotion. Now, I think that we need to be really careful in terms of how any and all messages are being put out there right now. I'm not a big fan of advocating for overt, over-the-top promotions. I think this is really a case, and as I was saying earlier today, of first and foremost, investing back into relationships with clients, investing into relationships with other professionals. And if there are other avenues to promote, sure, but look at it very strategically and very intentionally, because I think that we want to be very, very cautious and aware of managing the message and managing the promotional activities so that we're also not putting people's noses out of joint, right? Because it can be very easy to be construed the wrong way. But all the same, pivot, protect and connect, and profit are really those three foundational pieces that we're looking at to help our members and give them structure, give them clarity, give them the ability to continue operating and remain as relevant as possible. So I wanted to share that with you to give you a sense of where our energy and effort is going. If this sounds like something that could be of interest to you, just type me a note and let me know. We are looking at soon to introduce or open this up to some support for other people outside of our core members. So that will happen. Second is, if you're not already in the Broker Supergroup, then join, right? Just type into Facebook Brokers Supergroup, join and join the community, right? The more good quality people we have in here, the better. It can only enable more of us to contribute and add more value to each other through this process. So look forward to sharing a little more in the days ahead. By the same token, just like I said earlier, know that what you do is important, that it is making a difference, and I want you to stay strong and continue to look after yourself and look after your clients, and we'll be doing our best in the days, weeks, and so forth to continue looking after you to the best of our ability as well. But in the meantime, have a great day. Thoughts are with you, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers. Bye for now.